Hello and welcome to episode 26 of I Will Cast Anything. We're here on Cloud Kingdom for a PvT. In the bottom left hand corner, the red Protoss player is GaMeRGiRLxXx. And in the top right hand corner, the orange Terran player is aTPeak. Or aTPeak perhaps. I think aTPeak. Or maybe aTPeak. Not sure. These are two Masters level players in the US region. Big thanks to GaMeRGiRLxXx for sending me this replay. And we'll see how things get along past the quarter century mark now on episodes, I might add. Pretty pleased with the rate at which I've been churning them out so far. Pylon goes down. Probe Scout comes out from GaMeRGiRL. Meanwhile, not worrying about walling off just yet. Popping down a supply depot next to his mineral line. So not expecting any sort of early pressure whatsoever. And why would you? Probe Scout getting up into the natural. Heading up the ramp. And it sees a barracks. And it has a bit of a pop at the SCV, but it's been surrounded back there. Is it going to take out one SCV? Oh, nearly. It got close. But shields are down. And GaMeRGiRL's probe retreats. It's going to loiter around and see what else it can find out before it gets chased away, but there will be a Marine coming out of this barracks pretty shortly, one would expect. And then the probe will be chased away and the tech choice will be made. Oh, excuse me. And now that barracks is finished, and knowing that the Marine is training, GaMeRGiRL retreats. Nexus first. So, expanding as early as feasibly possible. GaMeRGiRL, she had that probe in there, she knew that there was no mad early pressure coming. So why not expand nice and early? And getting a forge up just in case there is any aggression. And here comes a command center, so both players expanding sooner rather than later, as we have often remarked many like to do, especially on this map. Here come some gateways and some gas from GaMeRGiRL. Still no gas taken for aTPeak, so not going into any super early Cloak Banshee player or anything like that. Gonna be sticking with Marines for now. Well, not really sticking with much in the way of units at the moment. There's a Marine and SCV out doing a bit of scouting, but here comes that second one finally, and perhaps going for double early expand, or maybe just getting ready. Perhaps what we might see aTPeak do is build a handful of Marines, enough to push out onto the map, hang out around this Alnaga watchtower, keep things contained, and then float that command center down over to this position here, possibly wait for it to morph to an orbital command and just use its energy for getting lots of mules in. First of all, Cybernetics Core coming from GaMeRGiRL, get that warp gate research done. And we do see a cannon has been plopped down to protect this natural from any poking Marines. And similarly, defensive structure going down for aTPeak. Bunker in that same position where the cannon is at the opposite side of the map. Two more barracks going down, so definitely bio-focused early build from aTPeak. And two more gateways going down. Players kind of mirroring each other's in a lot of ways, despite different races. And we see the first research starting at the same time as well. We have a ground armor level 1 and warp gate coming for the Protoss and stim coming for the Terran. Quite a lot of Marines out now. This bunker is full and there are more popping all the time. There's a probe down here at this Xel'Naga tower, keeping watch, waiting for that Marine push to come, or any push if there is to be one. And now going a factory to get some slightly different units out. It's good advanced pylon positioning here from GaMeRGiRL. Never hurts as Protoss to lay down that pylon nice and early, because you will need it at some point unless you get completely worked. And a Stalker coming out, so some units getting out on the field for GaMeRGiRL, starting to push out and investigate what's going on. More gas coming down for both players. And a bunch of sentries, so it looks like defensive from GaMeRGiRL early on. Getting that Robo Bay up, waiting to go into some higher tech units. This Stalker is going to be pushed away after knocking on the front door very tentatively. Looks like this orbital is just being used for SCV production and mules for the time being, so something of a macro orbital. First engineering bay is up, +1 weapons is researching, and another starport is coming down, so rounding out that trio of main production buildings for aTPeak. And we see warp gate research almost finished. The first observer is coming out from the Robo facility, and the Robo Bay is coming down. I think we're going to see extended thermal lance and Colossus come out in the not too distant future from GaMeRGiRL. Combat shields also coming, so big early bio push, one would expect, for aTPeak, and needs to hit that timing before Colossus come out, although 1, 2, 3, 4 gates coming down now to go up to a total of 7. Well, that's not a ridiculous number for 2 bases, doesn't necessarily signify aggression. We do see +1 weapons coming, and we do see that first Colossus, so if a push is to be made with this bio-based army, it would be wise to do it before too many Colossus are out on the field. Concussive shield is researching, medevacs are coming out, looks like it'll be the MMM ball. Here comes that observer. Oh, I hit B. Why did I hit B? I apologise, we only went back in time a short space of time. How foolish. I meant to hit V so I could observe what this observer was observing. As it made its way into the base, it's seen the factory scout going by, so that factory wasn't built for anything else. It's not going to have seen the army, but it'll see the medvacs, and it's going to figure out what's going on pretty sharpish. But that Colossus is coming out. Scan goes down to kill the observer. That's good intuition. Guessing that it might be placed there, I suppose. Here comes the factory scout, and we see one Colossus out and another Colossus immediately behind it. Here it is. This is the defensive position that GaMeRGiRL is going to set up. Good number of sentries. Plenty of stalkers. And long-range mining now from this third while he waits for this to float down. Here comes the army. The factory scout's going off in the other direction for some reason. Stims in. This cannon won't last long, but here come the Colossus. The second one isn't quite finished yet. Extended thermal lance only just started researching, but it does not matter. Running away is the MMM army of aTPeak, but +2 weapons and armor are coming now. So a slight upgrade lead for aTPeak, but once extended thermal lance gets finished, this army's going to be in trouble, and we do see the Vikings coming out in response. Ship weapons level 1 and extra gas at another starport, so now that aTPeak knows he's facing Colossus, he's going to get into Vikings in a big way. Here comes another forge in that Twilight Council, so GaMeRGiRL can catch up on those upgrades that she's about to be behind on. This factory scout is just going to wait here to poke in at some point when aTPeak feels that information is needed. And we don't see a third base taken yet by GaMeRGiRL, although starting to move out with this army now, so wouldn't be surprised to see that third nexus go down in a short space of time. Is a significant income advantage for aTPeak at the moment with this third base up and mining. And we see a worker lead as well. But also not a massive one. Yep, having secured this position, GaMeRGiRL bolts down the nexus. Couple of pylons. Once the pylons finish, some cannons will be thrown down. Still is this pylon out here, which has not been utilised yet. Immediately starting on +2 research and +2 armour, so pretty even on the upgrades at the moment. +2 armour just starting for the Terran player, +2 weapons just about finished. And it looks like we might see some Dark Templars, perhaps. A Dark Shrine is coming out, and this force is just building and building for aTPeak. getting more upgrades on the way, getting extra energy for his medevacs. But he's going to have to take down these Colossus. They're up on the high ground. This is not a situation that is a good idea to attack into. And very quickly backed out of by aTPeak. Upper ramp against Colossus with extended thermal lance is not going to go well. And those Vikings are going to be crucial. You see 4 Vikings training at once now to try and even out the balance against those Colossus, but only 3 for now, no more coming just yet. Charge Stalker legs are being researched. And it looks like a 4th is being planned and plotted. Ghosts and personal cloak are being researched as well, so trying to get into something slightly different. Something that his opponent might not be expecting. We did see that Dark Shrine finishing up, but we haven't seen any Templars yet from GaMeRGiRL. aTPeak confident to boss the middle of the map with this force, but not confident to attack with it at the moment. Really worried about that. Those extended thermal lance Colossi. Going ahead with these upgrades, going to have +3 weapons, +2 armor, just about finished. Might be thinking about another push now. The Viking count is up to 10. That's a much more workable proposition against 3 Colossus, providing one does not attack up a ramp. A couple more pylons going down on this side of the map, so it looks like GaMeRGiRL might be thinking about a push pretty soon. Getting blink for those stalkers, getting +3 weapons, +3 armor, so keeping up, and has moved down to take a 4th. So both players expanding. So I might see a double expand perhaps, or maybe this is a defensive planetary. Or perhaps an energy farm. Now the Templar Archives coming for GaMeRGiRL. So I'm pretty sure we're going to see Archons just trying to deal with those Vikings. Oh, that Zealot Scouts, the frame rate hitches, and now the big engagement comes. Bubble shields go up, there go the charge lots, and good force fields, and that extended thermal lance just doing so much damage. Now the Vikings are going to press forward. They did take out 1 Colossus. And now those medvacs with that extra energy are going to do a great job of healing up this force. He's going to try and run around his aTPeak, get the drop potentially on this 3rd. Drops a scan, sees the army is still where he wants it to be. He's going to have the high advantage. These 2 Colossus are a little bit out of position. One of them goes down to the Vikings. There's only 1 left, but there's a lot of Stalkers down here. Blink is nearly finished, but the high advantage goes with aTPeak. And this army of GaMeRGiRL is being ripped apart by this intense firepower and all these upgrades. But there are just too many Stalkers. GaMeRGiRL lost more units there, but has come out on top. Most of the Marines are dead, chasing away these Marauders. Charge lots are going in. The Vikings are landed. This is a bit of a desperation move here. Landing those Vikings, not a terribly good idea with all those Blink Stalkers in there. Colossus numbers are being recovered at the moment. And we do have ghosts out on the field. I'm not sure where they are exactly. Here's an observer. We haven't seen any Dark Templars. Oh, we do see some Dark Templars. I wondered where they were. Tearing through these workers. But this army has come back, knowing that there are no Colossus left. Able to remake it very quickly. aTPeak is just wiped out. Having to drop a scan to deal with these Templars though. Getting a missile turret up back home to deal with it. 33 workers killed by GaMeRGiRL with that Dark Templar harass. I must have missed most of it going on because it seems to have cleaned out a ton of workers. Down to just 39 SCVs. Bad news for aTPeak. Gonna have to build a lot of SCVs to recover for that. Finally some Archons being morphed in. And GaMeRGiRL is behind in supply, but did very well to do the economy damage that she did. But this army is just recovering so fast. Another big engagement, good spread from the Stalkers. The Archons dealing tons of damage, and the Marines and Marauders are being pushed away steadily. Oh. good blink under to kill those Vikings to stop them from taking out that Colossus, and now this force is retreating and being killed and killed and killed. There's a Dark Templar in there as well. That one medvac left is taken down. There's 2 more up there, but the army's just been decimated. GaMeRGiRL went from being 20 supply behind to being 60 in front over the course of that protracted engagement. And now come the warpins. Now comes the push from GaMeRGiRL up into the base of aTPeak. That bunker won't last very long at all, and I suspect this command center is also not long for this world. More Marines and Marauders are streaming down. They'll stand on the high ground and fire down, but they can't stop this damage that's being dealt. They can't stop all these warpins. You can see a re-expansion from GaMeRGiRL, who, having taken out that command center, is just going to flee off into the night here. But here comes another Dark Templar harass. 3 DTs here, heading for the worker line, taking out that missile turret. 2 workers there, 3. Oh, just murder. So much murder. Take out a refinery as well. Where's the scam from aTPeak? There it is. Takes out 1. Oh, but 1 survives though for just a short space of time. Yes, 1 does survive. Only shields taken down. And while those Dark Templars were harassing, the main army is attacking. 3 Colossus are up. This planetary just holds on though. This DT still running around making a noose of himself, murdering Marauders left and right, just shanking fools. Finally gets taken out, and a massive supply lead now for GaMeRGiRL at this point. That great harass forcing aTPeak to rebuild all of his SCVs was just enough to pull ahead. And of course those Colossi with extended thermal lance. aTPeak is remassing on units quite rapidly, but just has a huge supply disadvantage at the moment. There's just a big old army. Look at this, 5 Archons. More Stalkers warping in. Extended thermal lance going to work. I'm not sure I can see a way back from aTPeak from here. Loses some Vikings over this planetary. Does catch a few Stalkers that blink down onto the low ground, but this orbital command is going to get taken out. This orbital command might also get taken out. It does lift off in time though. And just more and more warpins coming at these well-placed pylons. Dark Templar just hiding over there in case a cheeky expansion goes down. I think GaMeRGiRL might be waiting to max out to deal the killer blow, but it looks like aTPeak isn't waiting. aTPeak wants to do some damage, wants to try and force GaMeRGiRL to run home so he has some time to recover. And this 4th Nexus is almost completely undefended. It will drop incredibly quickly. Will GaMeRGiRL pull back, or will she just counter and go in for the kill? Looks like this Nexus is going to be sacrificed pretty easily, and the kill it is. We might have a base race situation here. There's not much at home for GaMeRGiRL to defend this, although we could expect to see some warpins. Looks like all the probes are going to run away to the top of the map and rebuild somewhere else. But this massive, massive army is just wiping away the base of aTPeak. If it is to be a base race, I don't think it's a base race that aTPeak can win. Terran player just doesn't have a big enough army. Now the main base and all these production facilities are about to be attacked. We do have a drop going on in the back of the main base, so it is a full-on base race at the moment. But look, GaMeRGiRL re-establishing in the top right, no problem at all. Still tons of workers there, and now blinking up into the main and wreaking merry hell. aTPeak now also getting into the main and starting to attack the tech structures and the production facilities of GaMeRGiRL, but the supply difference is still massive. It's nearly 100 bases all over the place, but aTPeak knows he is beaten.